If the food would taste good, I'll be like, there must be something in it that I shouldn't be eating. The concept of wellness for me for the longest time was pain.
If I closed my eyes and you said, who's talking? I would say, I don't know, anyone in the Miss Olympia. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're swapping diets with a Victoria's Secret supermodel. She's gonna eat what Will Tennyson eats, and Will's gonna eat what she ate back in her day when she had to diet down for those runway events. You know, where the girls with big boobs and skinny bodies go on the runway. And by big boobs, I mean they have B cups because their bodies are so small that even a B cup looks big. Teeny tiny waists and enormous breasts and stick arms and measurements that were virtually impossible for any normal woman to achieve without starving herself. I would add, even with starving themselves, almost impossible. I'm reading this. You guys think I make this shit up. So there they are, the Victoria's Secret supermodels. Skinny, twig arms, twig legs, twig everything, and B-cup breasts. These are not big boobs. I don't know what they're talking about. They haven't seen Mepsogram if they think this is a big boob. Yeah, boy. Have we gotten any better today? Like, this is from 10 years ago and now today. Like, is Victoria's Secret even a thing? What happens is people eventually, they push back. Hey, none of that represents us. We can't look like that. And so what they do is they find it equally bad. They start showing us what we actually look like. There's two bads. Ultra skinny Victoria's Secret from 2016 and average human now. Both are bad. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that being morbidly obese isn't good either. Being underweight, bad. Overweight, also bad. They're both bad. Just because there's more people who are overweight than underweight doesn't mean that we should be pushing overweight. Here we are today. Supermodels. I think not.
This is Vida Sidorkina, a Victoria's Secret supermodel. Models are often known for following incredibly strict diets designed to keep them as skinny as possible.
And so the exact same thing as bodybuilding, bikini, all those different categories, except they use steroids. We're really gonna act like there's any difference whatsoever. Victoria's Secret, starving themselves, 600 calories a day. You can't eat this, you can't eat that, carbs are bad, nothing can be eaten. You need to look small. Bodybuilding, bikini, you can't eat anything, you gotta diet, you gotta do 3 hours of cardio, your body fat has to be single digit, and you use steroids. I'm almost thinking that bodybuilding is worse because they're using steroids. At least with Victoria's Secret models, they're probably not abusing steroids, and then once they start eating again, they look fit, they look healthy, as in case in point, this girl right here. She doesn't look bad, she's a mom, she's got kids, she looks fantastic. You're gonna say she's a little bit thin? Perhaps, that's her genetics. But notice, she's not on steroids. And so this girl right here, right now, if you give her steroids in a year from now, she's competing up on that stage.
Today, we're swapping diets. While Vida will be taking on my high-protein bodybuilder meal plan built around gaining muscle, I'll be following the kind of diet that helps keep a supermodel ready for the runway.
Yeah, that looks like a bodybuilder meal. I saw a chicken breast with cucumbers. Does that not look like half of your prep foods right now? I coach bodybuilding. I still coach. People hire me because they didn't want to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice all the time, and oftentimes hold the rice. Oh, too many carbs.
It's 3 egg whites,
3 egg
half
whites.
the avocado, which is pretty much what you give me.
Yep.
No carbs.
No carbs. Okay.
Because back in the days, the carb is an enemy.
I mean, technically, a calorie surplus is going to make you fat, but you all know why people say carbs are the enemy. They store water, 3 times their weight in water. And so if you eat 100 grams of carbs, you're going to store at least 300 grams of water. And so that extra water weight, it actually going to make you look fluffy, puffy, if you will. And so a Victoria's Secret model, if she were to eat carbs, she's going to gain weight. Now, it's good weight, it's healthy weight, it's muscle weight, but that's not what they want. They want to look stickly. And so by cutting out carbs, they're going to be lighter, leaner, and fit into those tiny pieces of clothing. And so they actually had it right. The carbs, not making you fat, but making you look fat.
By the way, no salt, huh?
Yeah, it's bland. It's like you're feeding a newborn.
We cannot eat salt because it retains water.
Wow.
It's not for the weak.
Sodium, water, carbs, all of these things, you take it away. When you're dieting for a photo shoot, for example, do you really think you're just eating whatever you want? Or do you not think there's specific foods to eat, certain foods to avoid in order to lose the most weight possible? If you had a before and after transformation and the goal was to lose the most amount of weight possible, do you really think you're going to just drink a ton of water the day before the show, have as much sodium as you want, and eat plenty of carbs? Of course not. You're eating none of that.
The breakfast was the biggest meal.
Really?
Like to me, this is like a snack.
For me, it's like a full meal.
And so 267 calories for breakfast, the biggest and largest meal of the day. It's frankly not a lot, but it makes sense that your biggest meal would happen in the morning. After all, you just finished fasting. It's called breakfast for a reason. You're breaking your fast with your largest meal. If she were on steroids and a Victoria's Secret model and double these calories, nutrient partitioning would occur. All those extra calories, proteins, and so on would turn into muscle. And so that physique she had back then with steroids would be the physiques that we see today. Case in point, precious calorie deficit. You're no golem. Well, she isn't golem, but she's as lean and as shredded as golem. The difference between her and a Victoria's Secret model, it's steroids. She's as shocking, no, more shocking in her appearance than that of a Victoria's Secret model. And so I actually don't know why Victoria's Secret doesn't hire her and girls like her to model their clothing. What Victoria's Secret and other agencies want to do is they want to have the wow factor, as in you're going to pause. You see their photo, you stop. What am I seeing? It gives more attention to the clothes and more people are talking about it. Why do you think they put super obese fatzos on the cover of magazines? Do you really think it's to be nice? Oh, we just love morbidly obese girls. They're so sexy. It's not that, it's the shock factor. Why did you put a fat person on the cover? She's 400 pounds. Why is she in a bathing suit? That doesn't look good. Why do you think Demi Moore did this? She was pregnant. I was young. Whoa, a naked person on the cover of a magazine. It made me stop, it made you stop, made everybody stop. If we put golem-looking characters who have single-digit body fat and muscle everywhere, people are going to stop and look. They're going to talk. Why is she a Victoria's Secret model? This golem-looking character has just as much right to be a supermodel on the cover of a magazine as anybody else. And frankly, I think more people would stop and look at her than all of these individuals.
I think we were very focused on like feeding into the smaller size possible. Like I remember I was in Paris Fashion Week. They casted me, they liked my looks. I went on fitting, the dress was not closing. They're like, go home.
And so clearly, hey, the smaller you are, the better. And so how do you get small? You eat less. You move more. This model was fired from Louis Vuitton for being too fat. If you're looking for somebody who looks excessively small and you're not excessively small, technically you're too fat.
So let's say you would go on a trip somewhere, they would give you $150 per week. They would call you weekly into a modeling agency for measurements. And if you gain a little bit of weight, they wouldn't give you the pocket money.
And so what would you do? Imagine that's your job. You need to weigh 110 pounds or less. That's your job. You're famous. What are you going to do? You're going to make sure you weigh under 110 pounds. And so how is it any different today? Well, today we have GLPs. Do you know how easy it is to lose weight? And so all of these things that are happening, they're happening right now. The only difference is it's easier. They're talking about eating cotton balls, having specific diets, eating all these things. And remember, at Algo RX, you can get GLPs. Of course, they don't sell Retta. It's not for human consumption. But they do, in fact, sell other GLPs as well as other peptides. Code Greg for your discount.
If the food would taste good, I'll be like, there must be something in it that I shouldn't be eating. The concept of wellness for me, for the longest time, was pain.
This sounds exactly like a bodybuilder. Like, if I closed my eyes and you said, who's talking? I would say, I don't know, anyone in the Miss Olympia. Bikini. Any category. This is what they said. Food, it tastes good. Oh, stay away. Sugar, nope, can't have that. Plain, get rid of the salt, get rid of this. Condiments, no, you have to cut those out. Walden Farms, are you kidding me? You can't have it. Except for Coach Greg. You remember I changed all of this years ago. Everyone, chicken, broccoli, and rice, not Coach Greg. Anabolic French toast. You really want to eat that? Why are you eating my protein pizza? My protein ice cream? And so I literally changed the game. Many of you are too young to know that I, in fact, started it all. Why do you think I became so popular?
Even though for me, I took my time with my meal, I was done long before Vita, and I found myself just watching her eat for an uncomfortable amount of time.
And so essentially this is like every dieter, they end up watching food porn. They're watching everybody make other recipes. They're dreaming of the day when their diet is over and they can eat whatever they want. And typically what happens is they have a mental checklist or even a written out list of all the foods they're going to eat after the competition's over. the chocolates, the candies, the cakes. And I used to post videos about this on Facebook. This is before YouTube. And people, they used to get mad. Coach Greg is calling us out for hoarding candies and planning to binge following the show. I'd say, look, this is disordered eating behavior, and they didn't like it. Oh, Coach Greg, you're not a good person. We're just eating. I'm like, you're glorifying binging. But I digress. Gress mention. And so here we are today as I continue to make the same videos.
Red goddamn Doucette.
If you're actually trying to lose weight and to make it easier than last time, have you in fact purchased my cookbook? Have you tried doing cardio and not just 10,000 steps? None of that bullshit. Actual cardio where you try to progressive overload, where you try to improve your fitness. That is the benefit of training hard. How hard? Harder than last time. Walking around the house with these stupid little steps like this. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you really think that those 10 steps are the equivalent of if I went for a jog? Those jogs, I'm leaping in the air. Every step, you know, I'm perhaps a hobbit. The steps are not that deep, but it's better than walking. Stop falling for the myth of steps is all you need. The Mr. Mikes and the Jeremy F.A.'s, they don't know what they're talking about. Coach Greg, he actually does.
My healing started when I truly exited the industry. I wanted to have kids really badly. And I will tell you, like, with that kind of unhealthy past dieting, I had like loss of the periods.
And so remember, as you know, when you're not eating enough calories, you become amenorrheic, you lose your period, you can't have children. You have to eat more food in order to have proper hormones. And so please be careful. Not to mention, you can develop osteoporosis later in life if you're not eating enough calories. And this applies to whether you have muscle or not. Just because you have muscle, like you're shredded, if you use steroids, then yes, you can have the same low level of body fat as a Victoria's Secret model, only you have more muscle, and so people are not going to make fun of you as much. Perhaps they'll joke around, but you're going to get a lot of compliments. When you're shredded, whether it's a man or as a woman, people are going to say, wow, that's impressive. As much as I make fun of this lady, she's having a lot of praise. But you need to realize that you need steroids to look like that. Without the steroids and eating almost nothing each and every day, your muscles are going to get smaller. You need calories in order to build muscle. To build muscle, we may as well explain it. You need protein, water, and energy. Energy in the form of body fat on your body or from food. And without that, you cannot build that muscle. And so if you're walking around as a woman with single-digit body fat, the muscles are not going to get bigger. They're going to continue to get smaller. That is an ED.
I weigh so much more now, but I look so much better because the quality of the body matters more than the weight on scale.
And so remember, she weighs a heck of a lot more now than she did back then. She still has a six-pack. Anyone who sees her right now would say she's relatively thin. And so imagine how thin she actually was back then. And so this is a combination of hard work as well as, of course, genetics.
I'm pretty hungry, so like when is the next meal?
Okay. I'll give you a chewing gum. Whenever you feel hungry, you reach for it.
And so to carry her throughout her day after that 267 calorie massive breakfast, she gets to chew gum. Now, you cannot swallow the gum because that would add more calories. And so essentially you have to chew and spit it out.
Since we're trying to reach the goal today, I want you to fit in this jacket by the end of the day. It's my show jacket that I was wearing when I was walking the runway.
Imagine how bad Will would feel if he could fit into the jacket of a supermodel. It would not be good.
All right, pre-workout time. Here you go.
I'm not ready for this. Are you ready for your big meal?
And so meal 2 for Will, it's going to be a cup of coffee. He doesn't get to have any calories. And she's going to eat Will's massive bowl of Greek yogurt, fruits, and all kinds of deliciousness. Now, to bodybuilders, this is actually heaven. I would love this meal. I've in fact had it in the past. It's just a great meal. You can also try many of Will Tennyson's cookbook meals. Remember, I'm not the only one with a cookbook. Will Tennyson also has a cookbook, and I'm eating from Will's book almost every day of the week.
This sludge bowl is literally my favorite meal of my day, and I was so excited to share this recipe with Vita.
It's disgusting.
And so one thing with bodybuilders is we essentially like everything. We've restricted calories so low that everything tastes good. But she's thinking, no, this doesn't fully hit. Now, I'm surprised, frankly, because she used to eat like a bodybuilder, which means she almost ate nothing. but she prefers this all blended up. And so whether you want to have this in solid form, which is what I would do, or have it blend up, both options are actually good.
Make sure it's like
I'm
minimally
close, I'm close.
digested so I can.
I have
get
to do
some.
like this.
No way you're plugging your nose.
Appreciate the honesty. Most people wouldn't have said that. I like this girl. She speaks her mind. Mepstagram also follows her. And so props to her for not just saying whatever Will wants.
She has no idea what she's talking about. Make sure you guys try the recipe. I'll actually link it in the description for you guys to try it out.
I'm frankly surprised that she doesn't like it. Imagine if she had to try Coach Greg's anabolic blueberry French toast. I made it for Will the first time we met, and he was thinking, what is this? It looks like mold. The blueberries, they turn kind of a greenish tinge, and I made a big sloppy mess. He was expecting a gourmet meal made by a chef, and he ended up with Coach Greg.
Vita's workouts consist of 3 blocks. Each block has 3 different exercises. It's 45 seconds maximum intensity, followed by 15-second rest, then back to it.
And so I just want to point out that you can't do 45 seconds of maximum intensity followed by 15 seconds of rest and repeat that over and over and over. It's not possible. Had it have been 15 seconds maximum intensity and 45 seconds easy, you probably could have done that. And so we refer to this as HIIT cardio. If you do 45 seconds hard and 15 seconds easy, essentially it's almost steady state. You're basically going between zone 4 and zone 1, but it averages out to a high zone 3. It's not ideal. It's not magical. I would just continue to train. Like anything, you have to pace yourself. It would be like if I said, hey, we're doing 20 sets of bench press. Do you really think you're going to go all out to failure on all 20 sets? Probably not. You're probably going to hold yourself back. And so if you have to do multiple sets, 45 seconds on, 15 seconds break, you're going to be going slower on those 45 seconds. You're not actually going to be going all out, because if you did, you wouldn't be able to keep going. That's just how your body works.
I will be honest, watching her blend this isn't the most appetizing thing.
Next up, a meal for Will. Remember, we're declining in calories, 136 whooping calories. Cottage cheese with some flavorings and some cocoa. I mean, honestly, it would taste good, but 136 calories, it isn't actually enough.
But Vita has a trick that's gonna help me get this down a little easier.
So I'm supposed to have a bite and then look at the screen?
Close your eyes, imagine Italian tiramisu melting in your mouth.
I feel like if you look at a tiramisu and you eat the cottage cheese meal, it's going to make it taste worse, because in your brain, you're expecting the tiramisu, but what you're actually getting is this cottage cheesy mixture. And so that is actually bad. I think you're better off imagining that this is going to be cardboard. Perhaps look at a rice cake and eat the cottage cheese and think, you know what? It's actually exceeding my expectations. My opinion about happiness is to have your standards lower than last time. All of you can't get everything that you want. Think about it. You're not getting what you want. I mean, close your eyes. Just do it with me right now. Just try it. Imagine your dream physique. You know, perhaps you got Ronaldo. Perhaps it's Holland. Whoever it is. Open your eyes. You ain't getting that physique. Are you kidding me? You really thought you were going to get that? What do you think this is? And so lower your standards. And so remember, this applies to everything, especially for your women. Lower your standards to around a 2. You thought you could get a 4 or 5. No, you can't. Lower down to a 2. Now when you get a 3, you're thinking, wow, I'm grooving with this girl. She's a 3. She's going to treat you better. You start going after those 9s and 10s, 99% of the time, it ain't going to work out. They're going to treat you like garbage. It ain't going to fully hit.
This used to be my dessert.
Okay.
Used to be my treat. Something I look
Treat.
like forward to.
Wow, this was a treat.
Listen, after a whole day of starvation, this becomes a treat.
It's actually true. Once you've been dieting long enough, everything tastes amazing. Like, if you were a Victoria's Secret model and you ate from my cookbook, you would swear that Chef Gordon Ramsay made every single one of these meals. The 10 out of 10 meals that you like, these meals are 8 out of 10s. Hey, I'm not going to lie. You think I'm going to say everything in my cookbook is a 10 out of 10? It's all low in sugar, low in fat, low in calories, high in protein. How could it be as good as your Haagen-Dazs ice cream? But it's 80% as good. The meals in the cookbook, 80%, 8 out of 10. That is all you need. Add to that, if you're hungry, the GLP Max, it lowers your appetite by approximately 28%. You go from an 8 out of 10 hunger to a 6. Now what was out of control appetite and hunger cravings is now more manageable. It's down to a 6. You get this, you get that combo in unison. You won't believe the things you can achieve.
So what's the craziest things that you've seen models do to curb their appetite?
A lot of laxative. Actually, the craziest thing I've seen is the girl eating cotton, like the cotton.
Like cotton, like balls? Like cotton?
You know what? She's listed a bunch of things, the cotton balls, the laxatives, the visiting the washroom for number 3. My opinion is that's nothing. Listen to what bodybuilders do. Clen, T3, T4, Adderall, DNP, sniffing creatine, doing math, endless hours on the treadmill. And the list goes on. And all of that was for what? For a plastic or perhaps a statuesque trophy. She was famous. She's literally in a Will Tennyson video. What are you? I'm asking you. What are you? Like, what are you doing? You're using Anavar. You're using Proviron, Primo, a list of peptides that you don't know what they are. Your coach told you to take them. You don't know what it is. You're injecting it. You're thinking, yeah, these guys inject it. I saw some girl on TikTok use it. Are you serious? Like, talk to yourself right now. Perhaps talk yourself out of it. I'm using all these drugs, and I haven't even competed before, to step on stage so that what? My coach can say, congratulations, you did it? Did what? You used steroids to get the physique that you didn't even want. Somebody convinced you that you wanted it. Hopefully, you don't do it long enough at high enough doses so that your voice turns into that of a man. You have to start shading, you go an abs apple, you start losing your hair, and your clit has a dick. Damn! Do you think it's worth it? Right now, maybe it is. Because you're dieting, and you're suffering, and you're hungry, and if you take the Clen, and you take this pill, and you take that, you're less hungry, less suffering. Isn't that the whole point of the bodybuilding, to see if you could suffer long enough to do it? I mean, when I was competing back in the day, there were no GLPs. There wasn't Guy's barbecue sauce. There was none of that shit. We had salt and pepper. We suffered and we did the things we needed to do to get to the stage. Now, just having the cookbook alone, do you know how easy it is to compete in comparison to when I first started competing in grade 12? Imagine if I had my book in grade 12, if I had a coach. I didn't even have the freaking internet. I was competing in the early 90s, guys. There was no Instagram, Facebook, coaches, none of that shit. I just dieted. There wasn't even protein bars. But I got in shape, and so well in shape that you all thought I was a fake natty. Do you not understand that you don't need all these drugs, these concoctions? You can actually do it natty. You just do the best that you can do, and you become proud of yourself for doing that. You don't need to use steroids. Yeah, there's going to be people you're competing against on steroids. Even if you do a natural bodybuilding contest, some of the people are going to cheat, at least in their off season, and they're going to be competing against you, and they're going to beat you. So what? It's about being your personal best self without comparing yourself to other people. Remember, comparison is the thief. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
I mean, not new to you, but no, that's it. You pass your.
No.
Oh. Good.
There we go.
So imagine how easy Victoria's Secret models back in the day would have had it if they would have had the GLPs of today. All of these secrets that they were doing, none of them would have needed to do it. Every last one of those Victoria's Secret models could have gotten those physiques with ease. All they had to do is take the GLP, no appetite, eat less. Would they be healthy? Of course not. Would they lose their period? Absolutely. Would I recommend it? No. But they all could have done it and not had to eat cotton balls and whatever.
The gym. And now it's time for me to Uno reverse you.
How cool is it that this is her having gained 10 kilograms from when she was younger? She's still shredded. I see striations in her delts. There was veins throughout her chest. This girl is peeled.
You're having a chicken breast with cucumbers.
Finally, Will gets to eat something, 208 calories, a chicken breast with cucumbers. No salt, no pepper, no Mrs. Dash, no Molly McButter, no Guy's Hughes sauce. Nothing. Everything plainer than last time.
You're having water. And do you have your chewing gum still?
I don't have my chewing gum. I forgot my chewing gum.
I
forgot the chewing gum.
Sorry for
Just
you.
water.
Just water.
And for Will, meal 3, it's plain water. It's not even sparkling, guys. 0 calories.
Why?
We're not eating after 6 because if you eat after 6, I used to be convinced that somehow the calories reads differently in a body.
Because remember, calories eaten after 6, they act different. they hit differently. They all turn to fat. At 5:59, those calories, they get used up. Now, if you think this is the craziest things that I've ever heard, I literally coach clients. One of them said, if you eat a meal next to somebody, with somebody across from them, the calories on their plate, they get absorbed into your breath. And so I explain and reason to them, that's fine. You can breathe in their food, but they're breathing in yours. And so it balances out. You see, Coach Greg, he fixes everything. And so if you're concerned about breathing in the calories of the people that are eating around you, don't worry, because when you breathe in their calories, they're also breathing in yours. And so it evens out.
You've eaten 3,929 calories.
And for me, I had nearly 6.5 times less food, eating only 611 calories.
And so here's what I think. If Will just ate 4 times as much food as that, so essentially ate the exact same thing times 4, hey, it would be a bodybuilder diet. This is how bodybuilders actually eat. Women probably would eat double that, 3 times that if they're lucky. And so to me, there's no difference between the Victoria's Secret diet as well as a bodybuilder's diet. The only difference is the steroids. Steroids boost your metabolism because a lot of the food you're eating, it turns into muscle. And so on a Victoria's Secret diet, to have no muscle, you don't need a lot of food. The Victoria's Secret models, if they wanted to be bodybuilders, would just have to eat more food, double their calories, and add in steroids. And the bodybuilders, if they wanted to be Victoria's Secret models, they would just have to eat less food and take out the steroids, and their bodies would trade. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo. Also, go to AlgoRx, use my discount code Greg to save yourself on all the peptides and supplements that you need, as well as to go to my own supplement, HCLT Supplements, code Greg for your discount. Don't forget to watch the bottom bloop or the top, take your pick. If you're interested in being sponsored, or if you want to have me coaching you, or if you want to sell my supplements in your stores, there's links for that as well. And until next time, off to go on my bike.